Fashion in charge, like for the party. Buster, Buster. We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
7 flavors, best taste. Buster, bolder, better, better. Pick your color.
We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
Buster, live in full color.
Buster.
Pleasant good day to you and yours, and welcome to Voices for Today. The time 3 minutes moving away from the 10 o'clock hour. A pleasant good day again to you and yours. Hope that everything is in good stead and remains so, even though I know that it won't be in good stead for everyone. For those of you who are going through trying times, here's hoping that, as the old saying goes, bad times don't last indefinitely. Just as all good things come to an end, hopefully all bad things should come to an end. And here's hoping that on the other side of those bad things, you will have a season of good things that would make you forget, if not all, most of the bad things. Again, welcome to Voices for Today, and whoever you are, feel free to call in and express yourself. I say that because oftentimes you hear people complaining that, they don't get to express themselves, they don't get enough time, they can't get through, whatever. But from my vantage point, I often realize that most of the people don't say anything. And I think that sends a message to the authorities, and the message is, well, everything is going fine and dandy because there are only a few who are agitating. Only a few are saying anything, so it means that the majority are comfortable. But when you go out in the wider society and you listen to and you hear them express, you realize that the majority aren't comfortable. The majority are griping and grumbling, but they do that behind the backs of those who can make a difference. So, see if that can make sense to you. As I said, no wonder it is that as time goes, we keep seeing and hearing the very same things. Well, I want you to speak on whatever it is that ails you, whether it is road rage, because I recently was hearing about an individual who left his vehicle with a machete and approached another person's vehicle and even tried to open the door of that other individual's vehicle. I don't know who that person is, but I would hope that some kind of action has been taken as it regards that person, because the scene that could have played out could have been absolutely horrible. Then there's the case of the recent guns and ammunitions and the statement made in relation by the authorities in relation and as a regards of that. That is a whole other instance. I'm going to revisit that, but also there's that instance that I heard Cortensia speak about and Biff elaborate on again this morning about the disaster in Guyana, and it reminds me of the disaster in way back in relation to Christina. There's a whole lot of similarities where overcrowding in terms of cargo and individuals and people being told to get off of the ship because it is overloaded, and then it is alleged that before the ship leaves the dock, people jump back on. And we know we heard those very same stories in regards to Christina. And we know the impact that those deaths on Christina had in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and the impact that these deaths are going to have on families in and around Guyana. So that's another instance. And then there's the always lurking and pushing to resurface the SSZ, which seems to be a source of a whole lot of ailment and argument and counter arguments and so many things that don't seem to bode good for the future. And I often ask myself, why is it that it seems as if though the Caribbean region only wants to hold on to citizenship by investment as a major source of income? Because we can't deny that it has been the major source of income for the region for a good while. It has even surpassed the amount of monies that we have gotten from things like, let's say, tourism, agriculture, and so forth. So I would like to think that hopefully our leaders will put their shoulders together and their heads together and come up with means of us surviving as a people in a region as we did before. Because before it was discovered that citizenship by investment could be very lucrative, we had other ways of maintaining ourselves. Is it that when we find something that brings in money rather easily, we just lean towards that and throw everything out? Is that the case? It seems to me that that is the case. So that is something that we have to consider, because when I look at, let's say, travel within the region, when we speak about tourism, let me ask this question. If it was not so expensive to travel within our own Caribbean archipelago of islands, would not people be traveling more, let's say, from here to Antigua to Guyana to Trinidad and Tobago I remember when I was young, a lot of people in these smaller islands used to go to Puerto Rico, go to Trinidad and Tobago and certain other places in the region to do shopping. So why has that ceased? Because people realize that gradually the fear to go from one island to the other became very exorbitant. As a matter of fact, it became so high that it has discouraged interregional travel. But let's say your holidays were coming up. We have people coming from Europe, from Canada, from all over the place to visit the Caribbean. And we see brochures, we see tourism leaflets and booklets and tourism guides, and we see how beautiful the Caribbean is, especially those that have a lot of beaches and rivers and mountain ranges and so many different things. And we sort of envy the fact that, hey, I would have liked to be able to go and see those places. Well, not me personally, because I'm not too much into traveling, but people envy that. And we are unable to do so. So, is it that the good things that exist within the Caribbean region are only for those who come from external spaces to the Caribbean? So when my holidays or anybody on one island's holidays is coming up, why you can't go to Barbados or Dominica and see those many rivers and so on and so forth? So our leaders need to put their heads together and become more of a united front. And if we become more of a united front, then hey, interregional travel would also carry with it interregional commerce in terms of spending, because when you go from one place to another, you're going to carry monies. You're going to want a place to stay. You're going to enjoy their cuisine, maybe meet new friends, see their clubs, nightlife, blah, blah, blah. So that is a way of making money within the Caribbean region, apart from the tourists that come here. So then you have the tourists that come, plus the intermingling of the people scattered across the Caribbean archipelago. That would enhance the monies that we make. That will also mean that vendors will be able to vend not only to people who exist outside of the Caribbean archipelago of islands, but people within the region. So vendors, for instance, when the tourist season does not exist, we still have a regional tourist season when the external tourist season, that is, doesn't exist. So there are many ways, and that is only one concept or one idea. So there are many ways of making sure that we as a Caribbean region can make monies within our own space. So why isn't that happening? Why is it that for whatever reason we have moved away from that? And is it that we are being told that tourism is only tourism if it is external individuals coming to our proximity? I don't know. So bear that in mind. I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break, and like I said, I would like you to call and indulge. As usual, I've got clips that I would play, but you can't say I didn't give you the opportunity or the option to call and indulge. When I get back after this bit of a commercial break, I'm going to touch briefly perhaps on something I heard on the prior program in relation to those 15 guns and rounds of ammunition. So do stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
You found the South 99.9 winnfm.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
Who Who says you have to wait until December to enjoy a little Christmas magic? This July, TDC Home and Building Depot invites you to celebrate Christmas in July, a month of exciting discoveries, incredible value, and reasons to visit again and again. Every week, look out for featured products with something new from Monday to Thursday. Then on Friday and Saturday, you'll get another chance to grab all of the week's featured deals. And because every Christmas comes with a gift, you'll find savings of up to 75% off selected items throughout the promotion. Whether you're tackling your next home project, upgrading your space, or simply looking for a great bargain, there's something waiting for you at TDC Home and Building Depot. Christmas in July begins July 1st. Visit TDC Home and Building Depot and celebrate the reason of giving in the middle of the year.
Nevis, are you ready? The heartbeat of Culturama is calling. It's time for the National Bank Panorama Competition, where the Holy Rhythm Steel Orchestra, Gifted Youth Steel Orchestra, and Nevis Community Development Steel Orchestra take center stage in an unforgettable musical showdown. So join us on Monday, 27th July 2026 at the NEDAX Cultural Complex beginning at 8 p.m. sharp and experience sweet sound of steel as each band compete for panorama glory. Remember, it's our heritage, proud and true. It's Culturama 52.
This September, the CPL finals come to the Mecca of Caribbean cricket, Kensington Oval in Barbados. Feel the energy, experience the vibes, the food, the fun, and the sun. Come for the cricket, stay for everything else. The best place to be a cricket fan is in Barbados. Plan your trip today at visitbarbados.org/CPL.
It's time for phenomenal cricket.
And I'm back with you. The time 19 minutes moving away from the 10 o'clock hour. I'll be with you up until midday. Now, before that bit of a break, I told you when I came back, I would speak on one of the main issues that is being bandied about, and that is the recent 15 guns and ammunitions and so forth. Let me first say I've been hearing a lot of individuals saying that we need to hear from the Prime Minister because he is the Minister of National Defense. And let me say this. I am a parent, and when you are a child growing up with your parents, you're rebellious, you're disobedient, you do a whole lot of things because in your immaturity and in your naivety, you do not understand or even care to appreciate what parenting is all about. But you grow up, you become older, you get involved, and then you become a parent. Before you became a parent, if you were kind of like me, you were looking at life and you were kind of thinking how you would try to cope as a parent, how you'd want your children to be, and so many different things. But when you became a parent, you realized that all that you envisioned in your mind and what you were now experiencing were two different stories completely. And the easy things that you saw that was so straightforward in your mind in terms of you're going to be a parent, you're going to be a good parent, you're going to try your best to provide what your children need, and blah, blah, blah. You're now in the realistic position where you realize that isn't so easy, because there's the instance of, can you get a job? Can you get a good enough job to maintain your family? You've got rent to pay, you've got school fees to pay, you got, before school fees, you got daycare center, you've got baby formulas and different things. And then you realize that, hey, this is hard. This isn't, how am I going to cope? And I say that to say, you're only one parent with one family. No matter how big that family may tend to be, you're still only a parent with a family. But politicians are, you could say, technically the parents of numerous families. So some of the reasons why we don't get good governance and good politicians is because we expect too much in terms of what they should do at any given time. So go back and revisit you as a young parent and the problems and the hurdles you face, and then envision how it would be for the governing factor to govern. They've got all these families, they got all the daycare center crammed up, they got all the different things where people, mind you, they don't pay those bills, but they must provide facilities that make it more comfortable or easier for you to pay your bills, for you to buy your baby formula, for you to have security, to be able to walk down the streets at night, for you to have electricity in your homes, water, for you to be able to walk down the different various avenues and have lights on the lampposts so that you can feel secure. So many different things. And it's a government that has to do it. Yes, there are a number of different individuals with different portfolio. But when you expect a particular minister to be involved in everything, in every aspect of everything in detail, don't you understand how that is going to impede and curtail what can be done? So let's go back to the police situation and the guns. Yes, the Prime Minister is the Minister of National Security, but there are individuals who have the job of executing customs and policing. Let me go to the phone. Hello, caller.
Good morning, Quinn.
Good day to you, sir. Good to hear your voice. How are you today?
Good morning, Quinn. So far, so good. It could be worse.
It could
quite
be.
interesting that you choose a topic like this morning.
Yeah.
But one of the things that you say that is that the people have too much of an expectation. They expect too much.
Sometimes.
Do you not believe that the expectation arises based on the promises that was made to them?
Yes, you're right.
And so therefore, if someone make promises to you, you expect them to fulfill the promise. Now, if you make promise to someone and you know you can't fulfill the promise, what do? You go back to the people who you make the promise to and say to them, I promise you that this would have been done, but it appears as if that it is a struggle to get it done, and so therefore, I will delay it, but it's still in mind, it's still on my bucket list. So going forward, it's still on my plan, but it appears as if that it might not be done in such and such a time based on the information that I give you that build your expectation to what it is.
Yeah, I hear you, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. But what I was speaking to wasn't so much directed towards a promise. I was speaking to the customs and so forth. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. If you make promises and you realize that you can't live up to them in the allotted time, then come back to the people. But how many of our politicians are mature enough and humble enough to do that?
Well, they was mature enough to come to you for your vote, and they should be mature enough to come back to you because at least
I agree.
once they keep in mind, if they keep in mind that they're working for you and they're working with you to help you. Now, if you notice that at a certain time, when they need something done, the first thing they tell you for your safety,
Yes.
to keep you safe. And the word safety have a ring on people's mind, and people have a tendency to react to that, gravitate to that very easily, because somebody say for your safety. That time is not for your safety, it's for their benefit.
Yes.
But using those words, I mean, widely or carelessly, if you like, conveniently, it works. So if they can find a way strategically to come back to people and let them know what they're working on and what they're doing and how they're doing it, then things will be different.
I agree, but you said two things. You said if they would realize that they were employed by you and should be working for you, but it doesn't seem as if though they remember that when they are elected.
Well, because power have a tendency to corrupt and corrupt absolutely. But I will tell you this. The other day I had a conversation with a few fellows, and they asked me, which I have no intention, if I were to get into politics, what would be the first thing that I do when I get in government? I said, the first thing I will do is cut back on the expenses.
Yeah.
Number one, all government vehicles pack up. Shut them down until you start to work 8 o'clock in the morning until you finish 4 o'clock.
But let me ask you this, because I hear you, but let's go back and say, okay, so you were elected as part of individuals who make up a cabinet. You're the prime
Right.
minister. You're the prime minister. You elected
Yep.
me as the minister of transportation and blah blah blah. Okay.
Yeah.
So because you gave me that portfolio, you don't want to determine to tell me what to do. You gave me that portfolio because you felt that I should be able to execute it. But
Okay.
even though you went in thinking that, and you said to me after we were elected, you said, Quinn, I'm going to give you this portfolio and you're going to execute it. But one of the things I want us to do is to make sure we stem this thing of reckless use and disregard for public transportation and blah, blah, blah. You said that to me, But now that I have the position, I'm just going on, I'm just bringing my friends, you're not seeing that happening and blah, blah, blah. So you understand the situation?
I do understand the situation, but at the end of the day, you must remember that all ministers serve at the pleasure of the prime minister. And so once the prime minister give a directive to a minister, he should carry it out.
Okay, so
He might do it lightly, mildly, or suddenly, but he should get it done.
So I hear you.
That is of my opinion, because at the end of the day, the question wouldn't be the minister's time, it will be the prime minister's time.
I agree.
Because everything will be questioned as to his tenure of office. What did he do and what he didn't do?
I agree.
And you might not even hear the minister name.
But hear this. I'm following you, but we're gonna make this a realistic thing. I hear you, and you're right. But let's say when we got elected, when you got elected as the prime minister, it was not a clear majority. It was a minute little scramble through where we just got one seat, that kind of stuff. Which, as it stands today, there's this thing about Nevis and St. Kitts and how they're going to go into the next election and who's going to have whatever seats or whatever. So let's say it wasn't a clear majority. And if you have a clear majority, you can say, well, okay, Quint, you're not performing, get rid of you, blah, blah, blah. But remember, I was elected, So you get rid of me, and who do you have to fill my space? It might be such a case where you have to call an election to make sure you maintain that slim majority lead. So sometimes I'm just giving people a picture that it is not always so easy and clear as it looks from the outside, Sometimes these politicians are in sort of predicaments where they're now afraid to go back to the poll. They're afraid of getting rid of this individual, and next thing you know, you have to. So You understand what I'm saying?
I understand
Not
what you're
not
saying,
as
but
an
at the same
excuse.
time,
Not as an excuse. I'm just giving you hypotheticals.
I know, but you see, going back to the situation in terms of the function of governance, where the prime minister have overall responsibility, whereas the prime minister, if the prime minister give a directive to the minister and he failed to carry it out, do you know that the prime minister could step into the position right away and get it carried out himself? He could do
Yes.
it.
Yes.
But at the same time, the thing is, in my mind, always, I never believe in firing people. Firing people, at the end of the day, don't make much sense to me. What does happen is to make people encourage them to do the job of which they are chartered to do. Once you encourage them to do it, they might do it. You might not. The way you bring it to them might be different. If you can't reach them one way, you could reach them another way. Somebody might be able to reach out to them different to you.
Yeah.
So you reach out to who could reach them, and to see the end result, if they could see the projection of the end result that you expected, then you could get them on board. But some people are high, low, high, low. No matter what you do, you cannot get them to do what you want them to.
That is
And
it.
so to fire them, you can't do everything yourself. So to fire people is not the end all. To
Yeah.
me, is to get the job done. That is the main thing.
But are you aware that a lot of times when a government realizes that there are one or two ministers who are not doing what they should do, and they try to chastise them, they do what we call sometimes crossing the floor when they know it's a slim majority?
Yes, they do cross the floor, but I never go down the area in terms of crossing the floor. There's always a way to settle things across the table, because we get together when we had nothing. Now that we have something, this is the time that we should stay together. The reality of things is what brought us together, and it's something now bigger, that is now bigger within us to keep us together.
Yeah.
And we should be on one page.
I agree.
And it's not so much that I say do this or do that, but it's how I bring it to you. It's how I sell it that make you understand. And once I bring you on board, I get somebody who could bring you on board, I think we'll have what you call a happy sailing. Because there's always, at the end of the day, one captain.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
two people could captain the ship.
caller,
You always have the chief, and you go along, sailing along.
I agree with
But
you. I agree.
it's like the communication skill have to be built, and you have to be fair, firm, and friendly at the same time. You can't push down somebody, because you could throw them out right now and have a talk with them and say, you know what, after you finish, you say, let's go have lunch. And you sit down and you have lunch together with them. That's what you call fellowship with them, by talking with them and have a drink with them. And you finish about that, and then when you come back from the lunch or the drink, you could say, man, let's finish up on this matter, because this is not our matter. This is a public matter, and we here with one aim. The aim is to serve,
Yeah.
not ourselves and our pride and our fancy and so on, but it's to serve the people who have put their trust in us and elect us to serve.
Yeah.
And if you get that on board, those who on the other side or the opposite side will see. But people can only believe in the things that they can touch and feel and see, because you're in Jesus Christ, so they could believe in you.
Yeah.
They trust you to give you the opportunity to serve. But when you get in the power to serve, you must reveal what you say. That is the evidence. Those are the facts.
Caller.
Once the facts come where they could touch and feel and say, yes, he said he was going to fix the road. I can't argue about that.
Caller.
Yes, he said he was going to mend the fence. Yes, he mend the fence. But these are things that must get done. And there are some people who are very good at dragging their feet and sidewinding. So sometimes you have to move from the desk and get out and do it or get it done yourself.
Yeah.
Because you have made promise to people.
Yeah. Like I was saying,
Life is simple. Life is very simple. It's just that we don't make it difficult. We start to let people live rent-free in our mind and get angry with them when you should be more encouraging them.
Yeah.
And if you cannot get them, go it alone and carry it and make sure that what you're doing will show tangible result. And out of the result, they will come on board with you.
Well,
Life is so
caller,
simple.
caller, I listen to what you say, and I agree. I agree with what you say. I don't have no disagreement with anything that you've been saying. I all I do is I try to interject certain things that people can see a broader picture. But I adhere and I agree with what you're saying. And but here's
You
the
agree
thing.
with me? I was looking for the opposition, so I could have come back.
Wait, I don't oppose just for opposing sake. You know, if
That's
you
what
say
keep a conversation going. You
has
see the
merit.
flaws and the envy
Yeah.
and the side dish and so on.
Okay,
And
so
in a conversation, is that you're looking and you say, yes, I agree with that, but this one, what about if somebody come with this? Then you could say, okay, you could alter this with that and so on.
so what I'm saying, Carla, is so far I don't see any flaws in what you've put forward. Okay, what you've put forward has all the merits. But here's the thing: don't you think that what you put forward for that to be executed, it takes a high level of maturity?
Yes, it takes a high level of maturity, but at the same time, sometimes it's not the so much the big thing, but it is simple things that determine what happens. You, as big as a man, as big as a man that I am, and as big as a man you are, it only takes one little fly to get in your eye to obstruct you. One little fly, as small as the fly is, and it stops everything that you're doing to concentrate and getting that fly out of your eye. So the thing is that you start small and grow big. And if you cannot go, that is what education is all about, you know.
Yeah.
You have an education that gives you the ability to think small, middle, and big.
Yeah.
So your skill of communication will be that good to take you wherever you want to go and take others with you.
Yeah. But it seems to me
If you can do that, if you're a good communicator, okay, the bar the door, you're down the road.
it seems to me, however, that those things that you mentioned, for whatever reason, they seem to be lacking in our politicians. I was tempted to say present day politicians, but as far back as I can look, I'm seeing the same mistakes being made over and over again, where it seems as if the egos override rationale.
Egos will override rational if the person or persons are not educated as to the things that they're doing. You cannot put a square peg in a round hole. It's not going to fit. A permanent secretary has such a hard task, and the permanent secretary must have everybody group everything to him, and so he will actually compile all these things together and make sure that they're being done and disperse it to the Prime Minister or the Minister of which he answers to, or whom he answers to. And so if he's not, and he have a very hard task job to function, because he have to deal with supervisors, heads of department, and sometimes he have to go between the staff to find out what the feedback they are getting based on how the supervisor is functioning, what is bothering them, what could make them more efficient and more effective in doing their job. Because remember, you answering to the Prime Minister, who have to answer to the people.
Yeah.
And if you do that, I think I'm talking too long now. I need somebody else to come in. But the thing is that getting the job done is the key.
I
They are
agree.
not so important who are being paid.
I agree.
What is the rejoice and the benefit and the glory is getting the job done and people are satisfied. Not everyone will be satisfied.
Yeah.
But you have to get the majority satisfied and on the same footing with you.
I agree.
Like the oil and main road. See, everybody enjoying it. That benefit everybody. The ferry terminal and the bus terminal, people enjoying those. The bus stop, people enjoying those. Those are things people could feel out and touch.
Yeah.
And if you could get that, if you could get the green thing going down between after you pass Brotherston, down there going, rather than have the iron there going grass, plant something on them. Get somebody from agriculture who have the know-how. Call them up and say, go plant. Put the trays and bags and so on and so on. So let's get ready that if a rainy season comes, we can have something. But just don't do anything. You cannot do anything that don't cut it. You have to act.
Yes.
And I think I've said enough and take up enough of your time, Quint.
Well, thanks for your interjection. Yeah, thanks for your interjection and words of wisdom, as always, and maybe on a prior occasion I might have found a flaw or so forth, but no, today you were right on the ball, no flaws. Okay, I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break and I'll be back.
Who says you have to wait until December to enjoy a little Christmas magic? This July, TDC Home and Building Depot invites you to celebrate Christmas in July, a month of exciting discoveries, incredible value, and reasons to visit again and again. Every week, look out for featured products with something new from Monday to Thursday. Then on Friday and Saturday, you'll get another chance to grab all of the week's featured deals. And because every Christmas comes with a gift, you'll find savings of up to 75% off selected items throughout the promotion. Whether you're tackling your next home project, upgrading your space, or simply looking for a great bargain, there's something waiting for you at TDC Home and Building Depot. Christmas in July begins July 1st. Visit TDC Home and Building Depot and celebrate the reason of giving in the middle of the year.
It's in the feeling in our we talk. It's in the meaning in our spot. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. Cause the rhythm of life keeps pumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things flowing. Before we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrating. Come let your rhythm flow. Buster! We run things are run we. Buster! Buster! Living color, do it differently. Buster! Buster! Not an in charge, like for the party. Buster! Buster! We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
7 flavors, best taste, Buster, bolder, better, better. Pick your color.
We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
Buster, live in full color.
Buster!
And the time, let me see here. You could just say about 15 minutes moving up to the 11 o'clock hour. Hello, caller.
Friend,
Yes, good day.
good day,
Good day.
and greetings once more in Jesus Christ's name. Now, that advertisement that you played at the beginning of your break with TDC playing that Christmas music, it made me felt so excited and so good because I love Christmas and I love the Christmas music and songs and that sort of stuff.
Okay.
It did really make me feel
It's
uplifted
entitled,
a bit more.
it's entitled Christmas in July, so.
Yes. I love Christmas.
Okay.
Now, what I'm also going to say on another issue, though, concerning the guns issue, and I think you're very well aware of my opinion and the perspective that I hold to on the gun issue, and I would just reiterate it. From my understanding of the Bible, God has given at least his true Christians, but everybody on the whole, I believe, the right to freely bear and carry arms, to protect themselves, to protect each other, to protect their country, both from foreign and domestic threats, including even the very government. I do believe the people, if a government become wicked and oppressive and persecuting the people, I do believe the people have the right, the God-given right and duty to remove that government forcefully. So, and not only that, the people owning arms is a check, not only on criminals, but also on government, for them not to become too abusive. Let me put it that way. No, I said that to say this. The problem, and based it on the, and like I said, how I understand the Bible, and I prove, and I would challenge anybody to prove me otherwise where the Bible is concerned. The problem is not the man bringing in whatever amount of weapons and ammunition he brought in. The problem is government unbiblically disarming its people. That is where the problem is, as my understanding where the Bible is concerned. And not only that, the caller before, you and the caller was talking, and you said maybe we put too much confidence in our politicians, and they don't perform and that sort of stuff.
I also said sometimes we expect too much, and rather than letting things follow the process, the natural process of going up the ladder or down the ladder, we just jump straight to the prime minister and always accept.
Yes, correct. You did say that. I couldn't remember everything word for word.
Yeah.
Let me say this, Prince. Because our politicians do not meet the biblical qualifications for government, I expect nothing from them other than they're taking us down the road of destruction and ruin. And when I said them, I ain't just talking about the present politicians. I'm talking about even from way back, all of them, all parties. So nobody limit me to no one party. And I expect from all of them the worst. Because none of them, from all parties,
but hear this,
meet
Greg.
the biblical qualification.
Hear this, Greg. You're not a politician, but I like to use hypotheticals. So let's say you were a politician, right? Do you realize that some of the views that you have go really against a lot of what the people might feel? Irrespective of that, you say you use the Bible as your reference and as your guide. But remember, you're also dealing with people. And when you make statements like the individual with those 15 guns and ammunitions, the problem was that government is restricting. Do you realize that you're going to agitate a lot of the people who you are supposed to be governing?
That's why I won't be no politician.
Okay.
Trust me, I know 99.9% of what I say agitate people to the eyes. Trust me, there's a lot of people, if they could really get away with killing me right now, they would do it. Trust me.
Let's don't take it to that extent.
Yeah, trust me, there are people who hate me that much. Mm-hmm. Who hate. As a matter of fact, one fella, not to go on a tangent really, but there was one fella, and he became a Christian. Okay? And me and he good now. But before he became a Christian, and this was just a few years ago, he said, "By Greg, but I used to hate you, you know? Hate you, know? But because I become a Christian now, you know, my feelings towards you has changed. So I know the hatred out there towards me.
Yeah.
And I could tell you other stories as well.
Well, I could tell you stories.
I do know that.
I could tell you stories.
I do know that.
I could tell you stories. Sometimes it seems as if the people sometimes hate you just because you exist and you breathe just like them. You know, sometimes you don't. You never did someone anything, but they just dislike you for whatever.
So true.
So imagine how much they're gonna hate you when you make statements that they completely
exactly, Chris.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I hear you.
Exactly. So that's for now basically what I really wanted to say. So let me just end off with a few words. For me, in my understanding of things from the Bible, and none of them meeting the biblical qualifications, I do not expect better from them. I expect worse from them and from all parties. Thank you very much, Quinn. Appreciate it.
Okay, so let me take a bit of a commercial break and I'll be back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Who Who says you have to wait until December to enjoy a little Christmas magic? This July, TDC Home and Building Depot invites you to celebrate Christmas in July, a month of exciting discoveries, incredible value, and reasons to visit again and again. Every week, look out for featured products with something new from Monday to Thursday. Then on Friday and Saturday, you'll get another chance to grab all of the week's featured deals. And because every Christmas comes with a gift, you'll find savings of up to 75% off selected items throughout the promotion. Whether you're tackling your next home project, upgrading your space, or simply looking for a great bargain, there's something waiting for you at TDC Home and Building Depot. Christmas in July begins July 1st. Visit TDC Home and Building Depot and celebrate the reason of giving in the middle of the year.
Rams the good food people always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. Rewarding your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
This September, the CPL finals come to the Mecca of Caribbean cricket, Kensington Oval in Barbados. Feel the energy, experience the vibes, the food, the fun, and the sun. Come for the cricket, stay for everything else. The best place to be a cricket fan is in Barbados. Plan your trip today at visitbarbados.org/CPL.
It's time for phenomenal cricket. It's in the feeling in our we talk. It's in the meaning in our spot. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. 'Cause the rhythm of life keeps bumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things flowing. People, we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrating. Come, let your rhythm flow.
And the time, 6 minutes moving up to the 11 o'clock hour. So far, so good. But let me get back to where I was before we had the calls. Oh, well, let me go back to the phone lines. Hello, caller.
Yes, Quinn. Good day to you.
Good day to you.
Quinn, let me ask you something. Just for, I was just going to what, your last caller said, and he been on since INT. But let me ask you something, Quinn. I know you're not a Christian, and if I'm wrong, then I apologize. But Quinn, just for identity's sake, for you to become a Christian, does it mean that you don't know that you were a human first? Like, to become a Christian, does it mean you have to give up your identity? I want to put these things out there for people to think.
Well, sometimes when I listen to Greg, if I'm getting you correctly, and I'm not a Christian. When I was younger and part of the church, there was a time or two when I tried to, and I won't say I was ever a Christian, but there was a time when I did in a particular church, profess to be a Christian. The reason I say I was never really is because you see a lot of the individuals in the churches who say they are Christians, they're not too sure, they're following.
Exactly.
They're following,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they're still questioning. They're still questioning, and they're looking around themselves for examples to come to a conclusion, and they're not getting the answers they want to get. And that was me in the church, wanting to be one of what they profess to be, but not seeing it in their lives, and then questioning, well, if I can't see it in them, how can then I say I am that? You understand? So
Yeah, but Quint, now follow my chain of thought, right? I mean, when I look at everything that we have in terms of Christianity and religion, and this is why Journey keeps saying that those who claim that they were wholly inspired, now we are talking about Europeans, because we are dealing with the King James Bible. Now, have anyone ever stopped and looked at the only thing that Europeans have given us is the Bible? In their literature,
I disagree.
story-
I disagree with you. Here's it. They have given us many things, but most of those things have been steeped in pain and suffering.
well, Quint, when I say that the only thing that they have given us, they are taking away from us.
Okay.
They are taking away from us, and this is the only thing that they gave us, and we have accepted it. You know, Quint, they are stealing from us in broad daylight. If you follow my train of thought, Quint, I mean, I'm talking about what they are exploiting. They are broad daylight thieves. That's the point I'm trying to make here, Quint.
But there are a lot of
and
there are a lot of individuals who will cringe when you say that and say,
Well, let them cringe, Quint.
but you're right. Let me put it this way. From the time the Europeans ventured out from Europe, everything that they were professing that they owned and created was stolen.
So, Quint, let me share a little this with you. Now, let us. I know you're apprehensive when it comes about talking about the Bible, but let us look at this, and I have to bring this, Quint. Now, in this book, right, it says, "Thou shalt have no graven image unto yourselves." Now, in Africa was carving things. They had. If you go to Europe and America, Quint, and you ever go to any of those museums, all the artifacts that are in the museums are of Africans, from Benin to Sudan.
Mali.
They're in the European museum, and they are. I have to pay to go and see them, Quint. Now, look at what we accepted. We accepted an image of an idol that they gave us in their Jesus, and we have accepted it. When the very book say you shall have no great, but they put it in a cement and ceramic, and they create an image, and most of us have it in our homes, Quint. Are you following me, Quint?
Let me ask you this, and this is why I like to bring facts, and this is why a lot of people might not like me, because I bring facts, and they are hard-hitting facts. Are you aware that the first depiction of Jesus Christ by Michelangelo was the representation of his lover, his male lover?
Yeah.
His male lover? That is the representation that we got of the first Jesus Christ from Europe.
Yeah, a Caesar Borgia.
Yeah.
But Quint, is not only that, but and King James himself. But you see, our black Christians are
And
not
that is
interested in
that is another thing again. Are people aware that King James was a homosexual?
Exactly. But you see, these are the things that our black African brothers and sisters who have accepted Christianity, they're not interested in that. King James even wrote a book on demonology.
Yeah.
But, now, quickly, Quint, to become a Christian, to become a born-again child of God, it is profound in the sense that you have to recognize that you you have to look at your reality. If you have not questioned the system, and the very book say, know the truth and the truth will set you free. But Quint, you have to ask yourself, well, what are you being freed from? And your reality speak to the system by knowing when Journey look at the Bible, when I read the Bible, Quint, and I know all these things that were committed by man, who was told by God, the God in the Bible that says, go down and kill and take land, I conclude that the Bible is a book of war, genocide, and taking of land from Genesis to Revelation. Now, God being a spirit have done that. And the question I'm trying out there, is God a Christian? People are in fear of these things, Quint, but this is our reality here. No, because they put something in a book and says that God, in the beginning, God created this and God created that, and God is almighty, God knowing. But he said God is a spirit. Who have seen a spirit? Then you go down to Jeremiah chapter 1, God says, before you were formed and shaped in the womb, I knew you. But God is the only one that descended. God is the only one that descended and operated in darkness. So darkness is the platform of creation, Quint. You're an engineer, Quint. Now, if you thought of something to create something as an engineer, it first has to come from your thoughts. And in your mind is darkness. The universe is darkness. The womb of the woman, which is the portal to life, is darkness. Are you following me, Quint?
I'm hearing you, and hear this. A lot of people don't understand that. For instance, when you glorify whiteness, for instance, this Caucasian individual coming here, and our police and customs, it seems, let me repeat that, it seems, are so enamored with them because they feel that whiteness is the head of everything. Are they aware that whiteness is limited in terms of the colors that can be incorporated in it? But are they aware that blackness has all the colors of the spectrum?
That's why I say, Quint, darkness, blackness, matter is the platform of creation. Blackness, matter is...
So in other words, the question I'm asking, why is it for 400 years they have been able to tell us that whiteness is better than blackness and we bought into it?
Yeah. Well, you see, Quint, it is deep. The psychology that is now on our minds. Like, you know, when you listen to our Prime Minister, our present Prime Minister, when I heard him, the enthusiasm in his voice when he spoke about his German scientist, Quint, I said, listen to my Prime Minister. His voice was so light a couple of months back when he was talking on Freedom with Juni Liber, telling us that he's German scientist, and this is a man who got his education as a medical doctor in Cuba.
Yeah.
And when America sanctioned Cuba, he was silent.
And remember the history of Germany in terms of genocide of the African people, of the Jewish people. Remember, if you go back in history, you can see where there was a time when you went to Germany to see black people in zoos.
Yeah. They create human zoos. And it's not just in Germany alone.
I use Germany because you were speaking to the Prime Minister's reference to German scientists.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you know, Quint, we have a lot of work to do. I mean, we are here. I am on the airwaves, and I am zealous of my people, Quint. That doesn't mean I am against other race, but we have to be restored, Quint. And this is why I'm going to keep at what I know, because when most people are sleeping, Quint, information is being downloaded to journeys from my ancestors and the universe. Now, that might be shocking for some people to hear this. But, Quint, we are creators because we are the gods and goddesses. The other race knows who we are, and that is why we are hated.
And we are creators. And we
The
are
lawyer on Inside the News on Saturday said everything is skewed against us.
and we
But
are
we are
creators.
lacking, Quint.
We are
We are
creators.
lacking because we don't know.
Sorry.
We are going along to get along. And I said something Monday, Quint. I said for any young person who want to be a politician, a leader has to recognize the reality of what we are facing today and come to the conclusion that if you're going to lead your people, you would be also willing to sacrifice your life. Because if you're not doing a survey of what is happening today in our present reality and going back as far as you can into the history of Europeans and Americans to us as a people, then you are just becoming a politician. Thank you for hearing me, Quint.
Okay, and I was trying to interject, but I realized that Journey was speaking, so I desisted. But we are such creators that we created them. Every Caucasian came. The beginning of every and any Caucasian came from the womb of a black woman and the seed of a black man. And they know it. They know it. I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break, and I'll be back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Nevis, are you ready? The heartbeat of Culturama is calling. It's time for the National Bank Panorama Competition. We're the Only Rhythm Steel Orchestra, Gifted Youth Steel Orchestra, and Nevis Community Development Steel Orchestra take center stage in an unforgettable musical showdown. So join us on Monday, 27th July 2026 at the Nedas Cultural Complex beginning at 8 p.m. sharp and experience sweet sound of steel as each band compete for panorama glory. Remember, it's our heritage, proud and true. It's Culturama 52.
It's in the feeling and how we talk. It's in the meaning and our spot. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. Cause the rhythm of life keeps bumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things flowing. Before we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrating. Come let your rhythm flow.
Buster! We run things are on we. Buster! Buster! Living color, do it differently. Buster! Buster! Lads and in charge, like for the party. Buster! Buster! We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
7 flavors, best taste. Buster, bolder, better, better. Pick your color.
We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
Buster, live in full color.
Buster!
And the time, 10 minutes moving away from the 11 o'clock hour. And I thought I had a caller, but I lost you. Do feel free to call back, and I will try to have a conversation with you if you do so. But I've been trying to revisit this thing with the Prime Minister and people calling for the Prime Minister to come out and express in terms of these guns and so on and so forth. Hello, caller.
Hi, good afternoon. Good morning. Still.
Good day, good
Quinn.
day. Yeah. Good day, Africa.
I'm in and out.
How are you?
Yes. I'm good, I'm good. Sometimes I listen, I'm in and out. Slow time, but there's a cruise ship in town, so
I saw shipping this morning, yeah.
Yeah. But while I was trying to position my vehicle, because there are plans for a new arrival terminal and, some things that are being reconfigured down here at the port. Yeah. So in terms of the logistics and the smooth operation,
is that going to incorporate the taxis also?
I'm not quite sure how it is
Because
roll out,
because
but it was something in the blueprint for a long time. And
because Journey, don't you think that the circus is a bit
Africa.
small? Yeah, Africa, sorry. Don't you think that the circus is a bit small for all of the taxi? Um, yeah, don't you think so?
the circus itself, yeah, the circus itself is the circus serves its purpose. And like for instance, there are some days when, one will want to come in, park the vehicle and go and pay a bill and do catch up with certain other things otherwise. And then the circus will come in for that purpose. There are some stationary guys that would be there and, apply their trades from the circus. But the circus itself is small.
Yeah,
and the space on the Port Center is getting smaller as businesses unfold in terms of the construction and the build out of the Port Center. I think, though, initially, where the plan is for this building, it might have been initially was to be built on the western part of the port. And as things roll out, I think that western part, which was earmarked for that building, probably was sold, I think.
Yeah.
And there was space on the eastern side, so that is where it's going to be rolled out. I'm not an insider, and I said that to my friend Secretary the other day, and he chuckled a little bit because he's one of the presidents that operate, and they might have their ears to the ground, so to speak. Sometimes I'm just, from a point of view, speculating, and hope my speculation would narrow it down to what might be from those on the inside. But nonetheless, I wanted to talk about something this morning, Quinn. Permit me to?
Go ahead.
So it is, and you alluded to it. I did not listen because I was to position myself and go to the closer to hear my name called. The 15 guns and some 1,500 plus ammunition that was confiscated, that was intercepted in a 40-foot container. There are more questions than answers. Because reading between the lines, I have heard and read where the first communique from maybe the police or maybe the Customs and Excise Department, seems like there was very empathetic and not wanting to apply the law as the law ought to be applied.
So let me ask you this then, Journey. Why is it that it seems, and this is what annoys me, because we see when we go into those established so-called developed countries, how they treat us as a people and how they put themselves ahead of us in so many different ways, and we feel that is unfair. Why is it that in our own space, we are not saying that we want them to be treated worse than us, but why is it that in our very own space, it seems as if though our own people of our own ethnic persuasion seem to put them ahead of us?
You want me to answer that question?
That's why I asked it.
I always use, when I'm writing, I always use the Jesus syndromes. We were presented with a God and all things godly to be white. So when it comes to seeing and offending persons of certain ethnicity, It's like we don't want to offend God. I call it the Jesus syndrome. Jesus has been living so long amongst us that even the hardcore of a criminal could be in the Jesus phenotype and coloration, and he would pass as a saint.
Yeah.
So the wording of what the excise and customs maybe put out previously, I listened to a program yesterday morning on this radio station where the last communique from the authorities is totally different. Because in reading from the first part, wording, first communique, it seems that left the man like, you know what I mean? Okay, don't do it again. Okay, do not do it again.
Yeah, that is the impression I got too. Yeah.
Yes, you're going to go. Don't do it again.
Are you aware that I've been hearing that there is supposed to be a press conference by the police, if I'm not mistaken, on ZIZ sometime tomorrow, and people are speculating that this might be one of the major topics. Do you think that would be an issue if there is a press conference by the police? And what position do you think they will take? Do you think that they will come and try to justify this and say, well, you know, we didn't think... do you think they will cement that statement that, well, we didn't see any criminal intent, or will they try to roll it back?
Well, if I can speculate, and I'm feeling from even... And I'm not broad brushing here because I can't go in. I'm not going to put myself in the minds of the ranks and files of the police officer. But feeling from an ex-police officer, a former police officer turned politician. Someone said he had a bad day yesterday on Morning Island program. Another person told him that I don't know what hat he had on yesterday. If he was speaking from a police perspective, from a police officer's perspective, or he was speaking from a political perspective. Because I think he's supposed to be a candidate of the People's Action Movement.
Yeah.
A twin brother of a police, known officers that we know.
Yeah.
Trying to give, I mean, the officer, he started out as if, well, yes, sometime it happened. You're in the security, and you might have a spent shell or an ammunition that left back with a bag, and you travel, and then it got ended up there, and then okay, some explanation, because you show your ID, and some explanation will suffice that okay, this could have been an oversight, a one-off. But are you going to tell me that you're going to use that rationale or that scenario to describe the man with 15 guns in a container?
You know,
and
you know, Africa...
1,500 rounds of ammunition?
You know, Africa, I felt it for Pell yesterday. Because you know Pell. Pell is a amicable person, you know, very friendly and so forth. And you wonder about the naivety of our police, because the way he was trying to... And that is one of the reasons why one of the topics I wanted to deal with, apart from people demanding that the Prime Minister come out first before the High Command. But there's an individual who stated this morning that they were annoyed because people don't understand the process, and the police came to a conclusion, but there's an ongoing investigation. How can you come to a conclusion before the conclusion of an investigation?
And that is why I said the Jesus syndrome has overshadowed our people. I wrote an article, a post the other day, where my experience with 9 guests coming on St. Kitts, I encouraged them to go over to Nevis. And the condescending way that how they describe that Nevisians behave and their behavior and these things. I'm wondering, and now, and with the controversy of the SSC and the potential Destiny project on Nevis, it is all falling in line. It's all falling in play.
Yeah.
Whether the Prime Minister should address it, I don't think so. There's the police high constable ranks and file that I think that should go to that avenue.
Yeah.
Even if the Prime Minister should say something, I love the police ranks and file to deal with the matter.
I agree.
And then the Prime Minister, whenever
if
it's
I feel the Prime
befitting
Minister,
of-
I feel the only reason the Prime Minister should make a statement is if, for instance, we see this playing out, we don't hear press conference, and this is swept under the rug, and perhaps then the Prime Minister have to make changes or cabinet have to make changes. Who makes changes to the High Command?
I'm not quite sure, but the High Command should be able to handle this matter.
Yeah, I agree.
And if it's beyond them, then the Prime Minister.
Yeah, that's
I think
what my
it has
thinking.
not been exhausted beyond what their responsibilities
I agree.
are.
I agree.
And I don't want Mr. Pell's former police officer for me to speculate that this is conclusive from this hearing with Mr. Pell. The atrocious disrespect and disdain. And people would not really like what I say. But it's all to be blamed on the Jesus syndromes. We need to go beyond that.
So don't
Now,
you think?
I
Africa, don't you think that they knew very well what they were doing when they represented God in their likeness?
Yes, and it is playing out in our world, and it's affecting us. Because I am saying, Quinn, if this guy, this gentleman, was in security back in his part of the world, and he come here and he wants to feel secure, go through the proper procedure and apply for a license, a gun license, and get the license first before you do anything else.
Yeah.
But he's put the carriage in front of the horse.
So let me ask you this.
And I don't know where the container was, if it was on his premises.
So let me ask you this, Africa. How does for the life of me, how does the High Command now come and explain away the fact that these guns and ammunition were not declared, that you had to find them and then say there is no perceived criminal intent? How can they explain away that?
It was alleged. It's a conversation this morning on the port. I have to say it's been alleged. It has been alleged that maybe the container came to the U.S., and they have eagle eyes. They see things that we will not see down here. So maybe the thing, the allegation was maybe it was even checked and known that these things was there. I don't know how long the gentleman was here. So there's so many questions. How long the gentleman was here? Is he feeling insecure on Nevis now that he will apply for a gun license? And why so many? Is he's going to into that type of business? Are he going to, there are 10,000 influx potential Destiny project residents. Is it that he's organizing himself to set up to sell guns and ammunition to those people? There are so many questions. How long the gentleman has been here for? He decided now to just go to Canada and decide that he's going to fully come home, come back to St. Kitts and Nevis to call it his home of retirement. So he's going to bring down these things along with other items into his 40-foot container and say, well, this is it. But 15 is too much of a stretch.
Africa,
what are we going to hunt here and think it's a Nevis?
Africa, you are well read, and you are also well researched. So then let me ask you this. Are you aware that in our Caribbean proximity, I'm not even going to go around the world, are you well aware that in our Caribbean proximity, we exist as a mainly peaceful people until Caucasians come in their numbers, and then all of a sudden, these Caucasians, they are not involved in any crime, but all of a sudden, guns and drugs and ammunitions are rife within our societies, but this didn't happen before they came. Are you aware of that?
Yes. And I'm going to say something now, Quinn. Matters of such close proximity to us. And there's a saying that came out of Jamaica, and it has been adopted by other territories. You have to dance a yard before you dance abroad. Even though my perspective, my circumference is universal, I cannot allow matters of this nature to fly under the radar and does not warranty me speaking about it. It's not going to happen where such egregious things, where the ordinary folk from Brown Hill and Charlestown and Gingerland, Newtown, Macknight, Irishtown, will be penalized for such. Even one. But here is it, this cashed 15. And it's not even conclusive in its nature. You have so much evidence, and what is it you're waiting on?
I personally feel that if people hadn't begun to agitate about this, it would have been swept under the rug. I could be wrong, but that is what I feel.
Well, the first wording made it feel that way. The first wording from the authorities made it feel like it was a done deal.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, guy. And then the question might be asked, what is the record? Is this the first container that came in like this? There's too many questions.
And let me repeat what I say for clarity, because I don't want people to feel that I'm hitting Caucasians, because there are a lot of Caucasians who are here, who are peaceful, who come to our islands and proximity, who want to really enjoy the leisure and the comfort and the freedom of our islands. But among them, there are those who think otherwise. And so I repeat again by saying, when they come in their numbers, which mean big numbers begin to come, we don't hear them involved in crime for the main part. But when they come in their big numbers, all of a sudden, we realize that guns are rife in our proximity, drugs is all over in our proximity. So the question is, why is that?
Quinn, I will say this. I'm a taxi driver. I'm a tour guide. I tell a story. And the overwhelming majority of my guests, my visitors, they are of that ilk, the Caucasian ilk. I have Chinese, I get Indians, I get black, I get Latinos. And I tell the same story to all of them. But majority are Caucasian, so I dispense it. If mango is in season, I get mangoes for my Caucasian guests. If whatever is in season and they come, I give them mangoes. I give them whatever fruit might be in season, especially mangoes. So I treat all likewise.
Do they like guineas?
But when it comes to saying and speaking these things,
I ask you, do you get guineas? Do they like guineas?
Maybe yes, I would. But once it's in season, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I just asked the question.
Yes, as well. Yes, whatever fruit in season, but mango is like a glut. It's plentiful.
Yes, yeah,
Guineas
definitely.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two things where watermelon, no, because you have to cut a watermelon and there's some the watermelons are big.
Yes.
But something that is tangible and more like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guineas, mangoes, and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. But, I have to dance a yard before I dance abroad because things that would immediately affect me, I cannot just sweep it under the radar. And then I permeate, I spread out. And because my perspective is universal, I can draw parallels with those that are with it beyond our borders. Another matter for another day is that those of us who have signed on to the MOU and those of us who have not signed on, like Sir Ronald Sanders, he's an ambassador.
What MOU? What MOU? You mean with
the memorandum of understanding of having TNC, third party national.
I wanted to be clear.
Yes. Yes, MOU. St. Kitts and Nevis, Barbados, I think, signed on. Others signed on. Antigua and Barbuda have not signed as yet. Jamaica has not signed as yet.
You notice the pressure that is being placed on Antigua and Barbuda, and also Jamaica and so forth by the U.S. regime.
But Quint, I'm getting more information of what I supposed to have gotten here on St. Kitts about St. Kitts. I'm getting more information from Antigua and Jamaica than what I'm getting from St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yeah.
And that should not be. That should not be. Information is either the journalists, they're not doing a good job. And like you said earlier, if we did not advocate for this here, it might have been swept under the rug. The journalists got to impress upon, like when the Prime Minister have his round table, you know what I mean? And ask more pressing questions. Because you and I may not get the opportunity to sit at the round table and ask those questions.
But someone made a point. I'm gonna have to ask you to wrap up because we've been engaging for a while. But someone made a point that, which I didn't know, that when it comes to the round table, you are invited, and depending on the questions you ask, if you are too heavy, they might not invite you back, which I didn't. I thought that when you have things like those, you would want the freedom of the press. But if it is that you are invited, and depending on how hard you hit and the questions you ask, you might not be invited back, then the question is how...
Yeah. Someone made a point to that. It used to be more palatable for people to go there and ask a question. Come on, it's our national radio station. And where else should we go if we can't go to ZIZ and be like how it used to be prior to this Joe-led administration? You know?
Yeah.
Let the voices be heard. My voice, they're not going to... I think they know me by now. So then, please allow me to speak.
Yeah.
Because
okay.
trying to not allow me to speak, they're going to hear more of me.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for being involved in the conversation. Okay, I'm going to take a commercial break and we'll be back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
This September, the CPL finals come to the Mecca of Caribbean cricket, Kensington Oval in Barbados. Feel the energy, experience the vibes, the food, the fun, and the sun. Come for the cricket, stay for everything else. The best place to be a cricket fan is in Barbados. Plan your trip today at visitbarbados.org/CPL.
It's time for phenomenal cricket.
Who says you have to wait until December to enjoy a little Christmas magic? This July, TDC Home and Building Depot invites you to celebrate Christmas in July, a month of exciting discoveries, incredible value, and reasons to visit again and again. Every week, look out for featured products with something new from Monday to Thursday. Then on Friday and Saturday, you'll get another chance to grab all of the week's featured deals. And because every Christmas comes with a gift, you'll find savings of up to 75% off selected items throughout the promotion. Whether you're tackling your next home project, upgrading your space, or simply looking for a great bargain, there's something waiting for you at TDC Home and Building Depot. Christmas in July begins July 1st. Visit TDC Home and Building Depot and celebrate the reason of giving in the middle of the year.
And we're back. And let me go straight to the phone lines. Hello, caller.
Yes, hello?
Yeah, hello.
Clint, am I there?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Sorry about that. I'm listening to you on YouTube and there is a lag, you know? There is a lag.
Yes, yeah, there would be, yeah.
Yes, so sorry about that. Now, I'm going to try to be quick as possible, Clint. Now, first of all, as Johnny was talking about mangoes, really and truly, you know, when I see people got mango seed in them, mouth, it kind of little make me kind of cringe.
That was Africa, because I made the mistake of calling him
yes,
Johnny
Africa.
also.
Africa.
Yeah.
Yes, when I see people with mango seed, but they kind of little kind of make me kind of cringe because I know how easy it is to swallow things, you know.
I heard someone recently speaking about accidentally swallowing, I think it was a skinip seed. Yeah.
I have done that. Yeah. So when I have a mango seed, I don't put it in my mouth. I hold it with my thumb finger, my index finger of both hands, and eat it. And eat it, just bite down on it, but I don't put it in my mouth.
Yeah. Well, you know the old saying, prevention is better than cure, right? So.
Yes. Yes, as a matter of fact, I think one time I heard when I was small, a person said there's a donkey choked to death and a mango seed.
It could happen.
Yeah. But anyhow, concerning even the hatred I was talking to you about that I have experienced my way, you know, it seems to me I'm getting a specific good amount of hatred from people who profess to be Christians, including ministers.
I expect that, yeah.
Mm.
Whether you want to admit it or not, if you look back in the history of the world, and a lot of the hatred that has been imposed upon peoples have been coming from people who profess one religion or the other. Not only Christianity. You hear a lot of the people who profess Muslims and so forth, you say certain things and man, you're in problems.
Yes. As a matter of fact, let me tell you something, Quint. One time I was listening to a local live church service here, and I heard a minister on the pulpit derogatorily, indirectly speaking of me. I'm telling you. But anyhow, it is what it is. And what he said was not nice.
Yeah. What people must understand, right, Greg, is that people are entitled to their opinion. And I've said to you on a number of occasions, sometimes when you make certain statements, I cringe, right? But that doesn't mean I hate you. I'm sure I make statements that make people cringe. But should it go to the point where you bring in hate? Hate is a whole nother level. Hate is a weighing down kind of burden. You want to carry that?
Yeah, exactly. And especially insulting for insulting sake. Insulting just for insulting sake You know, that to me is the worst kind of a very low level to stoop to. Just insulting for insulting sake to get you to get a good feeling from that you insulted somebody very badly. And the insult ain't got no substance to it to back up what you're saying. Anyhow, another thing, and let me quickly say this concerning Johnny, what Johnny said. Okay. Now, it is so complex. The churches in St. Kitts, I have said over and over again, are pastored by people who are not biblically qualified to be in those offices. Be they ministers, pastors, deacons, you name them. Vast majority of people who are in those positions are not biblically qualified. And therefore, they do not preach and teach accurately from Bible and from history. And so that is why you have a lot of churches, if they don't say it indirectly, and I know some of them may say it indirectly, they allude to it indirectly. A lot of them are wrongly teaching that the King James Version is the inspired, inerrant word of God. And because they are preaching that deadly error, you know, people, maybe Johnny Church used to preach it too, maybe, I won't be surprised.
Most of the churches preach that. Most of the churches preach that.
Yes, and therefore, because of that, people think it is the truth. It is not the truth. The inerrant, inspired, plenary, verbal, perfect word of God is what was originally written by the prophets and apostles of God. We do not have those today. We do not have those direct writings
But
today.
let me ask you this, because I'm sure you're aware of it, whether the question is, will you admit it? Having grown up in the church, me myself, having grown up in the church and having been one who has always been seeking knowledge ever since I was, very, very young. Now that I listen to preachers from when I was growing up in the church to now, I hear them regurgitating the same things. And sometimes I ask myself, are they not aware that there are so many things in the Bible that they don't touch at all?
I agree with you 100%. But the problem is that they really don't know the Bible. That's the problem. That's why I say a lot of them in the churches who hold these positions as elders, pastors, so they're not biblically qualified because they hardly know the Bible. They hardly know the Bible. And really and truly, a lot of them is just in it for the money, the womanizing, and so on. They're not really called to be there. And because of that, they're doing far more damage to the cause of Jesus Christ's kingdom and this earth than whatever help or good they're doing. They're doing far more damage. And so you find that 99% of the Bible don't even get touched.
That's
the way it's supposed to.
And I'm glad you said, because look, sometimes I'm perusing, I'm doing research, right, on the internet, and I bump into things and I scratch my head and I say, how is it that all of this information is there, but you never hear these preachers? They mainly come and they speak about pay your tithes and the same thing over and over. And there's so many different things that they can use as examples to relate to everyday life and everyday living, and they don't touch them.
Sure. Because, Quinn, like I said, these people are not biblically qualified. They're what the Bible calls wolves in sheep clothing, hirelings. They're not really there because they're called by God. They're there because of whatever riches and womanizing and so on that they could get out of it. Because some of the biggest womanizers around is pastors and so on.
Yeah, and hear this. Now that a lot of women are in the church, some of the biggest, the other way around are those female preachers too, you know.
Of course, I know that.
Some of the stories I hear, right, you see in the news worldwide, and so you cringe because recently I was reading about this particular pastor, and I've come across those stories over and over. This particular pastor who was pushing this narrative in the church, and he was married, but he had this young girl who he was having an affair with, and it reached to the point where that young woman, who was a psychiatrist, mind you, who it was her job to sit down and speak to people about how to go through. She was so traumatized that she went into the home where he was with his wife one day, and the wife was unaware of what was happening. The wife came to the door and she said, and the woman said, "I want to see your husband." The husband comes out and she shoots the husband, and then having shot the husband, she steps over the husband and shoots the wife, but the wife didn't die. And these are church people you're speaking about?
Yes.
And when you see...
And I could say a lot more in that negative vein, but time would fail me.
Yes,
Trust me, time would fail me.
Yeah.
So my saying to Johnny, no, the King James Version is not the inspired word of God, as you might have heard in your church and as other churches teaches. And not only that, with all due respect, Africans, North Africans and East Africans, including all down in Ethiopia, had copies of the Bible, translations of the Bible, long before Europeans went there.
Yeah.
In West Africa, I have referenced an article that there was Christians in West Africa even before Europeans went there. I think in the 1200s, a Muslim man documented Christians was already in West Africa. So they had to have had the word of God in some kind of form.
Well, I kind of disagree with you to some extent, but we won't delve into that. What I would say is that there was always this spiritualism in Africa, and whether people want to term it as Christianity or whatever, it's up to them. But for me, what I know as a fact is that the African continent had all kind of levels of spirituality, from depending on the countries, the tribes, and blah blah blah, and so on and so forth.
It's true. That is true.
Yeah.
That is undeniable.
Yeah.
Very undeniable. Let me also say quickly and lastly, though, so somebody could get in. This thing about Europeans, and here look, and Africa. I mean, Johnny alluded to the King James Version, but even in the King James Version, even in that, which is imperfect, it's not inspired, but even in that Johnny referenced, if they wrote that to keep black people down as slaves, they did a very, very bad job, because some of the biggest revolutionaries to St. Oliver Church, Johnny of Truth, Sojourner of Truth, and you name them all, even Uncle Tom, the real life one, and others. There was some of the biggest revolutionaries and fighters against slavery, and they were not docile.
But it seems to me, though, Greg, that the past people, our foreparents, fought more than us today. It seems as if, though, I can't put my finger on when, but it seems as if though our most recent black people are more passive, and I tend to think that is because we have reached a certain level of comfort.
Yes, and that is what I've been saying all the time, because like I said, it come back to the point we have been telling you that these people were calling themselves pastors and that's also, they are not real, they are not biblically qualified. Back then, during slavery time, religious leaders, including black ones, and especially black ones compared to the black ones today, they were more qualified back then biblically, and they were not passive and they were not docile.
They were not passive and they were not docile. Yeah, they were neither passive nor docile. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and even the black Christian in the pew who was taught by them, unloaded them. Vast majority of them. I mean, you always have exceptions. They were not docile or passive either.
But they would not be docile or passive when the teachers are not docile or passive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, today's a different story, yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's a different story. Yes.
Anyway, I want
Thank
you to.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Quinn. Appreciate it.
Yeah, because I want to finish my point in terms of the Prime Minister, and here's my take on that. Why I referred to family and being a parent and the responsibility that you find yourself caught up in and not being able to deal with it because you're not on that financial level, you're not on that mental level, you're not on that maturity level as yet. When you deal with a prime minister, the prime, foremost head, has so many different things to do. I am not saying that you don't demand answers from the prime minister. For instance, when it comes to the SSZ, I don't give the prime minister any leeway. I feel that he should come out to the people and let the people know his stance on the SSZ, because he is at the top of that. We've gone and we've scrutinized everybody else under, right? And we want him to tell us who are the people who make up these individuals who were to do an assessment and come to a conclusion. Who are they? And why has this been delayed for so long? So yes, there are times when you make demand of the prime minister, but in a case of this with the police, no, let it follow its process. Let's hear what the high command has to say. Let cabinet scrutinize that and come to a conclusion as to whether this was handled properly. One, whether there should be changes in the high command. Two, you understand? Then if they feel that there should be changes in the high command, perhaps then the prime minister can come out and say, well, look, we took this decision because so and so and so, or he might let his permanent secretary adjust that. I don't know. But I'm saying, if everybody demands the prime minister speak on this and speak on that because he is the prime minister, what time is he going to really have to deal with other very, very pertinent issues? So give the man a little bit of a break, okay? And to the individual who seems to come from a police background, who said they're annoyed because people don't understand the process. It's not so much about understanding the process. It's come down to common sense, okay? So if you have an instance where you find someone with guns and ammunition and they were not declared, do not run out and make any statements, none whatsoever. Do your investigation. Having concluded your investigation, then come and make a statement after that, because you have done a proper assessment. Don't preempt anything by jumping and making statements that in hindsight look so absolutely foolish. So don't tell us anything about we don't know how the law, we don't know. We have common sense. And there's a saying that it seems as if the common sense is becoming more rare every time, okay? You have less than common sense. Is hard to find, it seems, these days. Simple common sense. Because when you're going to say, well, whether you're a police presently or you're a former police, you're going to say, we don't understand the process. We don't have to understand your process. We understand right and wrong. And we understand if you're coming into our country, into our proximity, and you have something and you don't declare it, that suggests you have criminal intent. There's no way to go around it. So I don't care how much press conferences the high command want to say. They better be careful what they come and try to say to us, because we are not daft. We have common sense. Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
Quickly, thanks for taking my call. You know, for me, right? For me, I will always trust the King James Bible, but I also realize, Quint, that for me, when they say this is the infallible word of God, for me this is rubbish. It is rubbish in the context that nature is the word of God. The universe. We have maritime law that man has given us in a book. Nature is the word of God. Now, quickly, Greg mentioned that the preachers them don't touch on some of the thing that they should, and he said maybe because they're there just to be womanizers. But let us look at the story about the kingdom of heaven is like 10 virgins, the 10 virgins that went out after they heard the clarion call. No, he says 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. But the 5 that were wise went in, and the door was shut. The 5 virgin went in, and the door was shut. But the story is that this is what the kingdom of heaven is like. 5 virgin that was in with the groom, and the door was shut. Now, what were they doing there, Quint? What they were doing. So, in the context of the preachers, them are just there to be womanizers. Well, the story, in maybe that's what they're looking at. Because the story never tells us what they were doing after the door was shut. But emphasis was placed on, and the door was shut. Got me, Quint?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, the groom was in there with 5 young, beautiful virgins, and the door was shut. Anyway,
this
the
is
word
why
of God is...
This is why, like the other day when you were speaking about polygamy, and I said I didn't agree because this suggests, I understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, you see, I said that, no, you said that Africa is vast and there was different tribes, but yeah, and this is a part of print. Our ancestors, the Africans in antiquity, ancient Africans, our spirituality involves everything.
Yeah.
Everything in the sense of our agriculture, the water, the air, the sun, everything, the elements was all a part of the African spirituality. Now, when you look at what they have demonized, our craft, Quint, our craft is what they demonize, but what would we call what they gave us? Isn't it a craft? They gave us their craft, but they call our craft witchcraft. After they learn from us, Quint, after they have asked the question, which craft, W-H-I-C-H, then they turn around and name it witchcraft, and they gave us their craft.
There's so much that I would like to speak on, but I can't because time. But recently, there was a discussion about the Moors and Greg Carlin, and he spoke about the Berbers and blah 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 and so forth. And I would like to touch that and show where the Berbers were the main part of the fragmentation of the Moors and the descent into Christianity and the Europeans taking over. The Berbers played a big part in that. But like I said, there's so much different things to touch,
Right, yeah, for real.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm saying quickly, Quinn, that we have to look at what we were indoctrinated into, and we have to start the process of deconstructing, decolonizing our minds, because our ancestors had an identity, and we are part of that identity because we are connected.
Yeah.
We are connected by DNA. But I just say, Quint, story for other days, and this is why I appreciate you being on the air. And, it opened the avenue for discussion. Remember again, Quint, the book never said, come, let us have faith together.
Yeah.
It said, come up here, let us reason together.
Yeah, which suggests maturity. Yeah.
And for those who accept faith, nothing is wrong with faith. But faith is for those who don't want to know truth. Mm-hmm. Because know the truth and the truth will set you free.
Yeah, because faith suggests blind belief.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And faith is for you not knowing the truth. And our people have accepted because God called Abraham and asked Abraham to give up his humanity to sacrifice his son.
Yeah.
All right, Clint.
Okay, you take care. And so we've come to the end of another presentation of Voices for today. Do take care. Do take care. Hope you have the rest of your day and the rest of your life goes along quite nicely. Always remember to do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I tend to repeat that because that is the key to humanity living in unison and harmony. Because if we'd only look and stop being so selfish in our relations and integrating with other individuals, if we would not just look at ourselves and realize that the same way you want to be treated good by people is the same way you should be reciprocal and treat people good. Okay? So always do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Take care.
found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Now loans, cash at the speed of life, so fast you won't believe it. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, right now, right now. If you need cash in a flash with now, no need to fuss, leave it to us. When you need cash in a flash, no need to fuss, leave it to us. Hear me now. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, so fast you won't believe it. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, right now, right now. Approved in a day, yeah, yeah. Some money on the way, yeah, yeah. Approved in a day, oh, yeah, you know it's coming.
When life throws surprises your way, Now's here to help. Whether it's for an urgent bill payment, home improvements, or unexpected health expenses, or even that last-minute holiday trip. With Now, you get cash in a flash, approved in just 24 hours.
Approved in a day, yeah, yeah. Some money on the way, yeah, yeah. Approved in a day, oh, yeah, you know it's coming. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, so fast you won't believe it. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, right now, right now.
A loan product powered by National Bank.